Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD, and we are down here in Train Sim World 3 version 2. I refer to it as that because I refuse to call this thing Train Sim World 4. This is simply Train Sim World 3 with a cheeky little update. My goodness, I got scammed. Anyway, we're down here on the East Coast mainland. I've driven a test run of this route last night, and I'll just be honest with you guys, I'm not a fan of this route at all. I'm gonna keep the introduction nice and brief because we've actually got a train due in here in about, in fact, I think it's already here. Yep, there it is. We're gonna hop into that and just drive it. I'm just not a fan of this route. I drove it last night. I did a little nighttime run, and it was just driving on this route is torture. I can't describe it. It's horrible. Maybe you guys will see what I mean. If you like, just keep watching. I just can't. I'm not even enthusiastic about this. So we're just gonna jump straight in. So we're on the East Coast mainland. I've entered the cab here. I'm gonna take command of the service. Sit in the driver's seat. This is a Class 801 Azuma. Setting the driver reminder appliance. The PBC is already in the full service position. I'm going to move the FNR switch into the off position, remove the master key. I actually should have opened the doors first, but oh well. We're going to come over to our safety systems panel and ensure that every isolation switch is in the vertical position, like this. Oh wait, there's one more. Yep, there we go. That looks fine to me. We're now going to return to the driver's seats. Insert the master key, move the FNR switch into the neutral position, and acknowledge the AWS self-test sequence.
TPWS and AWS operational.
Okay, I'm now going to immediately open the passenger doors on the left-hand side. And we have a green signal with we have a green signal with position 4 route indication. So I am going to reset the driver reminder appliance. I'm now going to ensure that the headlights are set correctly. They are currently set to full beam, which is fine. We're currently driving in during the sunset, so it's going to get darker as we drive along the route. So yeah, we're down here on the East Coast mainline DLC that just came out. Like I said, I'm personally not a fan of this. I'm only going to be recording a commentary drive up to Doncaster, then back down to Peterborough, and I'm probably never going to touch this route again, unless they make an extension for it or something. But yeah, that's the first thing I need to get onto. The DSD, not the DSD, the vigilance device sounds whilst I'm stuttering like mad. The vigilance device sounds while the FNR switch is in the neutral position, which is unrealistic. The vigilance device would only sound if the FNR switch is in the forward or reverse position. So I'm not sure why. Developers, just update it, fix it, man, please. I don't. I'm not in the mood. Yeah, I just, yeah, I can't describe it. Maybe someone else would like this route, but it's just not for me. I honestly can't describe it. The train, the train is okay, I guess. I'm not really a fan of the train either. It's a bit weird to drive, but in terms of realism, it seems okay. Apart from the vigilance device malarkey. Anyway, we're gonna be running extremely late, but I don't care. There goes the vigilance again. Right, what do we need to do? We need to go outside and check the headlights. What the? I'm just gonna leave that how it is because I can't be bothered, man. Why can I even hear that from all the way out here? What is going on? And why are those? That doesn't look correct. So I'm gonna go back and have a look at the headlights. Is it meant to look like that? Be quiet, please. Um, Full beam marker. Okay, I'm guessing it's meant to be like that. I don't know a lot about the class 801, but they are quite similar to the class 395, which I have a lot of experience on. So I think that's why I learned this train so quickly. Like when I went to drive it yesterday, I was just I just set off like it was nothing. Anyway, what am I doing now? We're going to perform a static brake test very quickly. Shut up. Okay. FNR switch into forward, PBC into the emergency position, back to full service. Okay, this isn't good. Not. Oh no. Oh, this is going badly. So, cause the vigilance device was going off for so long, the train's now made an automatic emergency brake application, and I'm unable to release the brake pressure. You can see the brake gauge is stuck at 130. This is bad, you know. I'm gonna try restart the train. Do you know what? Never mind. I'm moving mad. I'm moving mad. I can't lie. I forgot the doors are open.
and AWS operational.
No, that was dopey of me. I can't lie. No, I forgot. On some trains, when you open the doors, the brake pressure is stuck all the way at maximum. So yeah, we don't do the static brake test on this train except for when you're bringing it into service in a yard or depot. Let's just go. I can't be bothered. Let's just do this. Where are we stopping? Newark Northgate. I'm only gonna go up to Newark Northgate. I don't have the energy to go up to Doncaster. I'm gonna learn that bit and then record it separately. I'm gonna stop at Grantham as well, even though we're not scheduled to stop there. I'm just gonna stop there to test my route knowledge. So yeah, go close the doors. This is gonna be interesting. Yeah, so now you can see door interlock light is illuminated and our brake cylinder gauge is falling slightly. Be quiet, honestly, be quiet. Right, green signal checking these monitors. No one's trapped in the doors. FNR switch into neutral. Sorry, forward. I'm tired. um, we're gonna pull the PBC back to the minimal brake application position, and then from here we go immediately into the minimal power position like this. And the reason I've done that is because there's no hill start button on this, so you have to be a bit quick when applying power, otherwise the train's gonna roll. So yeah, I've just moved off very gently in the minimal power position there. That noise that we just heard, I believe, is the cab doors sealing themselves tightly. I think that's done to increase the train's aerodynamics or something. I don't have a clue. Anyway, we're absolutely creeping out of Peterborough station right now, so I'm gonna up the power a bit. Speed limit is 25 miles an hour at the moment. Once we're clear of the point work, it will be increasing to 125 miles an hour. One thing I don't like about this train, and it's got nothing to do with the realism. I think this is clearly quite realistic, but the design of the speedometer, that is horrid. Why is there no markings for the 5 mile an hour intervals? I, how am I meant to know how fast I'm going? Like, all I know is that I'm traveling between 20 and 30 miles an hour. I don't have an exact marking for 25 miles an hour, so I have to sort of guess. And also, I have to keep looking at the PBC to know what position I'm in, what notch I'm in, I should say, which is not ideal as well. It would be nice if there was a little display or something. I think once you get used to the sounds of the PBC, maybe it's a bit easier, because I know on the class 377 and 375, 387, I don't need to look at the PBC. I can just listen to the sounds that it makes to know what notch I'm in. So I think maybe if I learn the sounds on this train, I can drive without having to look at the PBC. But for now, yeah, I have to keep looking down at the PBC, which is annoying. Train is comprised of 9 carriages, and we've cleared the point work. There was a board with the number 125 on it, telling us that the speed limit is now 125 miles an hour. I'm going to make a... Does this have notches? Well, I'll be damned. It has notches. I didn't realize that, you know. I thought it was smooth. When I was driving this last night, I didn't realize. So this thing actually has notches of power. I thought it was a smooth. I thought it was like a class 700. I know the braking range is smooth, but oh, so that's quite helpful then. Okay. Oh, I'll take back what I said then. I don't really need to continuously look at the PBC. I could just press the. Anyway, we're gonna perform a running brake test. I've accelerated up to 30 miles an hour. Gonna make about a 50% brake application there. Watch the speed fall by 10 miles an hour and release the brakes. Once the brake pressure gauge falls to zero, immediately up to full power, full steam ahead. Next station is Grantham, which is nowhere near here, probably about, I don't even know, 15 minutes of high speed driving. So now I have to try think of something to talk about so you lot don't get bored, which is, oh, I don't know. I'm not a talkative person. um oh dear. So yeah, this is the class 801 Azuma. I think these first came into service in 2017 or something like that. I have little knowledge on these trains. That they're not in my, they're out of my territory. I'm a south of the river kind of guy. So yeah, I don't really. I've barely even seen these things in real life. I've never gone on one. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but I do know it's closely related to the class 395 Javelin, which is about 10 years older than it. So yeah, that's why I sort of it handles in a similar way. The driving mechanics are quite similar as well. So yeah, we're up to 20, 40, 60. We're up to 80 miles an hour. I'm not used to the speedometer at all. It's a bit weird. Sorry about the sniffing. And I sort of have to. I sort of. I sort of have to keep my eyes peeled because you can get some yellow signals being thrown at you, and that is due to the fact that there are a bunch of level crossings on this route. And the signals protecting the level crossings will display a red aspect until the level crossing has closed. And a lot of the times that doesn't happen until you're approaching the level crossing, if that makes any sense. I don't think that made sense at all. If the signal protecting the level crossing is red, then the signal two spacings before that signal will be a double yellow. So a lot of the times you're gonna come up on that double yellow as the signal protecting the level crossing changes to green. So, or sometimes you'll pass the double yellow and the signal protecting the level crossing still hasn't changed, so you have to slow down, assuming that the next signal. This is railway stuff. I don't know. Watch the. You should know this. If you're watching my videos, I'd assume you'd already know this. But yeah, I'm not. I need to try. I need to try practice explaining stuff like this if I'm if I'm ever gonna make a course and be successful, a successful train sim YouTuber. I don't know what to talk about. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, we're up to 120 miles an hour. Speed limit is still 125, so I'm gonna begin to cut the power back. Going down into power notch 3. I like the sounds though. The sounds are quite nice. The internal sounds, I should say. Last night when I was doing my test run, I was standing at Peterborough station for quite a bit, and I could have sworn I was hearing diesel sounds. Oh, there's a whistle board. As I was saying, I could have sworn I was hearing diesel sounds on electric trains. I know these trains have diesel engines fitted to them, but on an electrified section of track, those diesel engines would be switched off, so I'm not sure why I was hearing diesel sounds. And if you're paying attention, you would have seen that we just passed a flashing green signal. That is part of the, think of how to word this correctly, back when the intercity 225s used to run along here years ago, if you would pass a flashing green signal, you'd be authorized to travel at 140 miles an hour. Obviously that isn't allowed anymore, but the signals still flash, which makes no sense. It's a bit weird. I'm not sure. Oh, double yellow, and it just jumped up to a green as we passed it, so I made a brief brake application, but because I saw it go up to green, I released the brakes, and I took quite long to acknowledge the AWS warning as well. I think if I took a bit longer, I would have got an emergency brake application. So yeah, my commentary is a bit of a disaster right now, just like this route that we're driving on. So yeah, commentary matches the route. This is what I'm saying. This is why this is the problem I had with the route. It's just it's torture. There's nothing happening. I'm just driving along. Maybe this is someone's thing. People might like this, just sitting back and doing nothing. But for me, there needs to be stuff going on. I can't lie. I don't like this. I just don't like this. I'll be honest. I'm only firming this because I need content for the channel. And I'm sure a lot of my viewers are eager to see me drive this as well. But after after I complete the commentated drives on this route, I will not be touching it again. No, I'm sorry, no. Right, so our speed limit is still 125 miles an hour. At some point it's gonna go down to 115. I can't remember how far away that speed reduction is, but what I'm looking out for is the track on the left, the track on our left converging onto our track. That is where I'll start looking out for the speed reduction down to 115 miles an hour. I don't even know what notch of power I'm in. I think that's power notch 2. I'm gonna down it to power notch 1. I don't know the gradients either. I've literally only driven this once. I drove this last night. I did a nighttime run, which was quite brave of me, between Peterborough and Newark, stopping at Grantham. In fact, no, I didn't stop at Grantham. I skipped Grantham. So this is my first time stopping at Grantham, which is mad. But I know where the braking point is, so it should be okay. But yeah, we're just flying along here, 125 miles an hour, not a lot going on. There's another train heading back towards Peterborough, and then onwards to London afterwards, I'd assume. Is there anything else I can talk about? I haven't played this route enough to really commentate on it in detail. I'm just here, innit? I'll be honest. I'm just here. Like, believe me when I tell you guys, I don't want to be playing this right now. I sound like a spoiled, ungrateful little brat, but it's the truth. I'm not a fan of this route. It feels like I'm being tortured right now. I'm just doing this to have content for the channel. I'll be so honest. I'm very disappointed. I'll talk about the route that I'd like to see in Train Sim World 4, but I don't want that 115 speed reduction to jump out at me while I'm doing so. I think we're gonna be approaching it soon. Do you know what? I'll start talking about it anyway. So the route I'd like to see in Train Sim World 4 is London Overground, West Croydon and Crystal Palace to Highbury and Islington. Possibly with the line down to Clapham Junction as well, but that might be pushing it a bit. But West Croydon and Crystal Palace up to Highbury and Islington with the class 378, that is a must in my opinion. I feel like that will be revolutionary for train sim world. We have the class 700 and class 377 as artificial intelligence, so developers of train sim world, if you're listening, jump on that please, because it will be epic. You're gonna have a high workload because, as we know, London Overground services stop at all stations, and the stations are only about what, 2 minutes apart, a couple minutes apart. There's the depot at New Cross Gate, so you can take trains out of the depot, put trains into the depot for stabling. There's just, I can imagine there being a lot of variety, if I'm being honest. You could do your little failed train scenarios where you have a failed train, you have to go rescue it, bring it back to the depot or whatever. And also you have that nice little underground section between Surrey Quays and, what is it, Surrey Quays and what's the station called, Canterbury, I think it's called Canterbury. Dalston Junction, Canterbury. Yeah, Canterbury. Between Dalston Junction and Canterbury, it's underground. Tell a lie, no, it's not. It's what did I just say? What on earth did I just say? But between Surrey Quays and I think it's Whitechapel, it's an underground section of track. After Whitechapel up to Highbury and Islington, it's overground. But I think it briefly goes underground at Dalston Junction. I haven't been on that on that route in quite a while, so I think I'm incorrect. But yeah, I feel like that would be very nice for train sim world. So developers, if you're watching, please jump on that right away. Did I just see a ghost? Oh no. I thought I saw a ghost in my house, but it's I think someone's shining a light from outside, and because my curtains are open, it shined on the wall inside my house. That was terrifying, I cannot lie. Speed limit is still 125 miles an hour. I don't know when. Actually, I think we're approaching the reduction now. I'm just keeping an eye on that track on the left. When that converges onto our track, I'm gonna yep about now. So I'm shutting off the power. And as we hit this left-hand curve, I'm gonna make a minimal brake application. And that will bring our speed down to 115. The board for the 115 speed limit is very hard to make out, but it is just before we enter this tunnel here. Just there. When I was doing the nighttime run, I could not see what the board said. It literally just looked like a little white blur going past my windscreen. It's insane. When they say you have to be able to drive a route with your eyes closed, they're not joking. There's a little saying that they have on the railways: if you don't fully know a route until you can drive it with your eyes closed. It's that they are not lying. They are not lying. Anyway, so we're not too far out from Grantham Station, which is going to be our first stop. What I'm looking out for is a banner repeater, which is a... how can I describe what a banner repeater is? A horizontal or diagonal black band on a white background that lights up. That's the best way I can describe what a banner repeater is. We're looking out for that. It has the same structure as a signal, but it shines white instead, and it has a black band in the middle that can be either horizontal or diagonal. Some of them can shine green as well. Those are the newer versions. And the role of a banner repeater is to display the state of an upcoming signal. So if a signal is hidden behind a curve or something, then you'd have a banner repeater in advance of the signal. So that just gives you a bit of information on what you have coming up. So as we hit this left-hand curve, yep, there's the banner repeater now. That's where I'm going to get my minimal brake application in for Grantham Station. And I'm going to aim to come to a stop using just the minimal position. I may need to up it slightly. Sniffing, apologies. Yeah, I'm going to up the braking force to about 50 or 60% because I know we're getting closer to Grantham Station. I hope this... Are these the platforms coming up? I don't want to embarrass myself, you know. I don't want to embarrass myself. At 40 miles an hour. Okay guys, so it turns out I was actually traveling at 60 miles an hour entering Grantham Station instead of 40, which is insane. And I actually suspected this later on in the video, but yeah, watching it back now editing, mad. I'm gonna up the braking force a bit more. 40 miles an hour into the station is okay, but you're gonna need a lot of braking if you want to stop before the end of the platform. Full service, emergency. We've overshot Grantham Station. I repeat, we've overshot Grantham Station. Right. Full service, neutral. Set the driver reminder appliance. Beep, 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 beep. Hello, signaller, driver of, I don't even know what the head code is. Reporting a station overrun at Grantham Station. I'm within the signal section of the platform. I'm requesting permission to head to the other end of the train and set back into the platform. Hello, driver of whatever your head code is. I'm granting you permission to set back your train into Grantham Station platform. Okay. Oh, be quiet. In fact, hold on. Yeah. There we go. Can't just head out here. Jump down. Let's just yep, 2 red tail lights. So we'll make our way back to the other end of the train. If you're ever doing this in real life, always walk back along the outside. Don't ever walk through the inside, because then you're gonna get a bunch of passengers asking you what's going on. Just walk along the outside. Keep your head straight. I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Oh my goodness. Right, here we are, the other end of the train. Enter the cab, turn on the relevant safety systems. Yep, that's fine to me. Sit in the driver's seat. Insert the master key, FNR switch into neutral and acknowledge the AWS self-test sequence. Setting the driver reminder appliance. And we have a shunt signal at the end of the platform, so I'm going to crawl up to that shunt signal there. We've already got permission from the signaler to do this, so you know it's whatever. I'll be honest. That train driver's probably confused right now. Can't blame him. Yeah, this is very embarrassing. I am just, what an L, what an L. F&R switching to forward, minimal brake, releasing the brakes, power notch 1, power notch 2. Boy, that was pathetic. I can't lie. Shutting off the power, we're up to about 10 miles an hour. Minimal brake, just coming to a stand at the end of the platform, just in front of this shunt signal here. There we are. Okay. Full service, neutral, setting the driver reminder appliance, and we have a door release on the right. Oh dear. Right. Why is that? Ooh. Alright, this is not going well, you know. So it appears I was driving without the headlights for that short distance. That's my fault. What I should have done was actually gone outside and verified that the headlights were being displayed correctly, because then I wouldn't have made that mistake. I actually thought that this was in the full beam position, but I didn't look at it properly. It's actually in the tail light position. So I was driving with tail lights being. I've been sacked, innit? I've been sacked. There, there's no doubt about it. I've been sacked. F&R switching to off, removing the master key. Oh boy. We'll turn off the safety systems. I can't even remember which switches it is. Which switches. Head back to the other end of the train quickly. Just check your tail lights. Yep, they are fine. Go. Apologies for the inconvenience, ladies and gentlemen, but please be grateful that the train was set back into the platform. It's only about 5 minutes of your time. Honestly, don't give me no grief. So what I did wrong there was I was in the minimal brake application for too long. I feel like at that banner repeater, I should have started off with the minimal brake application and then upped it to about 50% after a couple of seconds. But yeah, I was just hanging about in the. That's me acting too confident for my own good, acting like I know the route. I've never stopped at Grantham before. That was my first time, and look at what happened. Oh dear. Right, we're up at the other end, the correct end. Inserting the master key, F&R switch into neutral, and acknowledging the AWS self-test sequence.
TPWS and AWS operational.
I can just about make out the banner repeater up there in the distance. It is in the diagonal position. That means that the signal ahead of us is clear. So I'm going to reset the driver reminder appliance. I am going to check the headlights very quickly. Be quiet. Flipping vigilance. Headlights are being displayed correctly. Yeah, I don't like this route. I'll be honest. I don't like this route. It's not the route's fault that I overshot the station, but just in general, I don't like this route. It's not for me. Alright, I'm pressing the door close button. Next station is Newark. Door interlock light has illuminated. Glancing at the monitors, glancing at the banner repeater at final time. F&R switch into forward. Releasing the brakes. Power notch 1 until we start moving. Then I'm just going to jump straight up to power notch 4. And I don't think we need the signaler's permission to proceed in the correct direction. All we needed was permission to set back. I might be wrong though, because this the signal's still clear. We didn't pass the signal, so yeah, I don't think we need permission. We just set back, come back to the correct end of the train, and continue with our journey. Well, that was a disaster. That was an absolute disaster. It made for some good content, so I'm not gonna complain too much. Yeah. Anyway, speed limit is 100 miles an hour through Grantham station. It goes back up to 115. We just saw the board for that now. The 100-mile-an-hour board is just before the platforms. That's in case you're driving a service that doesn't stop there, like I was last night. I'm just speechless. Why? I have a feeling I was doing 60 miles an hour entering the station instead of 40. I was panicking a bit too much, and I can't read this speedometer to save my life as well. So I'll have to watch it back when I'm editing and see how fast I was going. Because when I entered Newark station last night, I was doing 40 miles an hour, but I still managed to stop at the end of the platform. So yeah, I feel like I might have been going at 60 instead of 40. I don't know. I'm just speechless. I'll be honest. That was embarrassing. Speed limit's just gone up to 125 miles an hour. We passed the board for that just now, although it was very hard to make out. And now we've got a long stretch of boringness. I don't even know if I want to do any more commentated drives on this, because this is hell. It's just not for me. I prefer my little southern routes, my southeastern high speed, Brighton mainline. One route that I'm eager to learn is the Birmingham Cross City. I'm quite eager to learn that because that's quite a high workload route as well. So once I finish my southern route commentated drives, I'll probably move on to Birmingham Cross City. I've got some ultimate guides that I need to work on as well. So yeah, that's my plan for the upcoming weeks. But this route, I don't know for this route, I will not lie. It's just not... It, I just... The driving experience I'm not a fan of, but obviously that isn't really the fault of the developers. But the route itself seems a bit rushed. Like just the scenery, the way the train is with the vigilance device, it seems rushed, very rushed. Anyway, I wasn't calling it out, but we got up to 125, so I've just been bouncing between the different power notches to maintain the speed. Acknowledging an audible AWS warning that was regarding the signal that we just passed. It was displaying a double yellow aspect, but that jumped up to a green aspect before we passed the signal, so no action is required. Oh boy. Oh boy. And we're not too far away from Newark. I'm ending the video at Newark, and I'm gonna... I should be able to edit this. What time is it now? I don't even know if I'm gonna edit this today, I'll be honest. I don't like recording videos after work, as you guys know, because I have no energy to commentate. So that's what's happened to me now. That's probably contributed to me overshooting Grantham Station as well. So now that we have this passing loop on the side, we know that we're not too far away from Newark Station. My breaking point for Newark Station is going to be a sort of a football field on the left. Yeah, I'm in power notch 1 at the moment. Acknowledging the AWS, we passed a double yellow signal, so I'm gonna make a immediate 50% brake application. Overshooting a station is not that bad, but passing a red signal is very bad. So I'm not messing about with the brakes this time. Another double yellow signal, and it's jumped up to a green, so I'm releasing the brakes. And I'm gonna jump back into full power. Does the signaling function like this in real life? Let me know if anyone drives this thing in reality, because constantly slowing down like this and then accelerating this, it must be very uncomfortable for the passengers. I feel like in reality the signalers would be a bit more on the ball with the level crossings. They're not going to let trains be passing double yellow signals, because then they'll have to slow down, which is inconvenient. So yeah, if anyone drives these things in real life, let me know, please. So there's the football field, but because we're traveling at below 125 miles an hour, I'm going to delay my brake application slightly. I'm going to get my brake application in about an hour, just a minimal brake application. But I'm not going to linger in the minimal brake application for too long. I'm going to actually up that to 50% now, because we're hitting the right hand curve, and I know that Newark station is on the other side of this right hand curve. So I'm just trying to kill my speed off from early on. I have PTSD now. I'm gonna be very, very cautious when approaching stations from now on. I got very confident at Grantham back there, acting like I know this route, when I've only driven on it. I've only driven on it once, literally once before this. So we're down to 40 miles an hour. I've gone back into the minimal brake position. Yeah, we're just gonna go for 30 miles an hour into the station. Yep, that is perfect. And we're gonna aim to come to a stand at the end of the platform, because that is where the stopping mark is for these trains, I believe. So just upping the braking force to 50% there momentarily. Now going back into the minimal position, and I may need to momentarily release the brakes. Yep, I'm going to release them now. That brake gauge is very weird. It's a bit, it's the way it moves about. It's a bit different to the Javelin. But yeah, I've just been bouncing between the release and the minimal brake application position, trying to achieve that accurate stop. Oh, borderline overshoot. I think that is just about within the boundary there. So anyway, full service, neutral. I'm gonna set the DRA, because we're surrendering control of this train to the artificial intelligence, and we have a door release on the left. FNR switching to off, removing the master key, and I'll just disable the safety systems for good practice. And I'm going to exit the train. Right. I don't know what to say. I'll be honest. I don't know what to say. I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this commentated drive. I am just not impressed, I'll be honest, with myself, with the route, with the train. Everything about this video was just wrong, very wrong. Train Sim Mode 4, I don't know, man. I don't know. Train Sim Mode 3 version 2, as I've said before, I can't even call this Train Sim Mode 4. But yeah, that will be it for today, guys. Once again, appreciate you guys for watching. If you'd like to support the channel further, consider liking and subscribing, and constructive feedback and criticism is more than welcome in the comment section below. I will catch you guys in the next one. Love.